and I am Irish, as you know, and he was bashing the Italians. Mitt Romney is going after the Italians.
This sounds very gay.
Give me a hell yeah! I said, give me a hell yeah!
Bam! Happy New Year's, everybody.
What's up, dogs?
What's happening, boys? We got the History Homos Podcast here today. We got William, the homosexual Britishman.
He your fag.
And Scott, the self-hating Jew from History Homos Podcast for this New Year's Eve app. What's happening, boys?
What a colorful cast of characters.
Right.
I know. For real, dude.
We're less than probably 4 miles apart right now, you and I, Paul.
Oh, me and you, yeah. Did you get the text and call from the state of Massachusetts to say don't go out?
Dude, I wanted to bring that up. That's so funny. It's like, oh, don't forget, you can't have fun this year.
Yeah.
I got the text. I don't have really had plans outside of this, which is pathetic. But the point is when I got the text, I was like, maybe I should make plans afterwards just to defy these fucks.
Yeah, I got the text, and I got the same one on Christmas, and it's like, you just go fuck yourself, dude. Leave me alone. I'm gonna be like, tonight I'm chilling. Christmas I went out. It's like I'm gonna do what I want to do. Either way, but it's so funny they texted, and my wife got a voicemail from them too. Like
I got one too. Yeah,
I didn't get one of those. Just
I got the double duty. They know I'm a problem.
Yeah, they gotta hit you twice.
Yeah.
What about William? What's England like, dude? You guys are pretty fucked up, huh?
Well, I went to Leeds the other day, and they have as part of the city centre Christmas decorations, they literally have fascist slogans where it would normally say, Happy Christmas, Merry Christmas or Happy New Year or whatever. They had, I'll look them up, but one of them was marching on together.
Yeah, and what was your future is going to be better or something?
Let me get it exactly right because I don't want to exaggerate.
Was one of them Build Back Better?
Not quite. It was actually they were more fascisty than that. So here we are. I've got them in front of me now. So
One England.
The biggest one is a new year, your future in sight. Right, and then marching on together, which, in all fairness, is a Leeds United slogan. And then where tomorrow is easy.
Yeah, what is that? That sounds like some fucking Brave New World shit.
Yeah. And
better a gram than a damn. What's the last one? Is he?
This is your time to love Leeds.
This is okay because it's going away later, obviously.
Yeah, it's not going to be in perpetuity from now on.
Yeah, right.
I've already had my time to love Leeds, and I've finished with it.
You don't even like the football club?
It's my favorite football club, but I'm not interested in soccer at all. But yeah, the fact that they've been in such dire straits for so long causes me pain as a professional Yorkshireman, because they're Yorkshire's biggest football club, and therefore that makes them the biggest football club in the world. So, because everything in Yorkshire is bigger than everything everywhere else, by definition.
Right. Yeah, it takes up a lot more land, but less people, kind of, than down south.
Well, I guess maybe your scientists might say that. But,
Dude, in the chat, I was thinking this.
Follow the science.
Yeah, exactly. Follow the science. Lenny, thank you for bringing this up. He said he just finished watching the Yorkshire Ripper documentary on Netflix. William, can you account for your whereabouts from 75 to 81, please?
I'm a lorry driver.
Holy shit. Dude, I watched that right when it came out, like maybe a week or two ago. And
I always have a screwdriver handy.
Yeah, he always had what the fuck? No, he always had a hammer and some kind of blade on him to stab a woman.
This is news to me. We'll have to cover this in an episode or something.
Oh, you should check this out.
Peter Sutcliffe was based. He was basically a taxi driver, except he was truck driver.
Yeah,
he was cleaning the streets. He was a hard rain, and he came.
Yeah, his thing was Scott. His thing was he hated prostitutes for the most part. There was a few that weren't hookers.
All right, so he's an anti-Travis Bickle then.
Yeah, he was cleaning up the streets. He wasn't helping the young prostitutes.
Right, okay.
He was murdering them. He even killed like a 14-year-old girl, and that's when the town was like, "Wait a second, let's try and find this fella." Yeah, Once you killed the little girl, that's what people were like. Fucking, they didn't care when there was hookers. They
too far.
Yeah.
This is a true story, right? That when I was a kid, this was all going on when I was a kid. And I was born in the same town as Peter Sutcliffe. I was born in Bradford. You would call it Bradford, but those who are from there call it Bradford. And we used to go. So I didn't live in Bradford. I lived in the countryside about 20 miles away. And on kind of quiet evenings where there was not much to do, and if I was staying at my auntie and uncle's house, which I often used to do, they say, "Shall we go ripper hunting?" And we'd jump in his Ford Cortina, and we'd drive to Bradford, and we'd cruise around the red light districts, seeing if we could spot the Yorkshire Ripper. For fun.
It's a fun game for children.
I know.
Yeah, let's go find the murderer.
It was the first car I'd ever seen that had a sunroof as well, and he used to open the sunroof and let me sit on the roof with my legs dangling into the car, and he just told.
I was going to ask if he let you do that like Pretty Woman move, or whatever movie that fucking was, where like Julia Roberts goes through the sunroof.
Yeah, bachelor party. You go up the sunroof.
Similar to that, Paul, do you know where? This is a kind of a throwback for Boston people, but there's this place in Sharon where
Sharon.
Yeah, Sharon.
It's right down the road from me.
Yeah, it's actually well, we'll get into that later, but what's it called? Randy Moss used to live there.
I'm sure it's close to the stadium.
Yeah. And his house was absurd. It was literally a castle, and there were these big giant lions. So whenever, kind of like when William would go look for the Ripper, we used to go, "Yo, you want to go check out Randy Moss's house again?" Which was just be an excuse for us to smoke a blunt, obviously. Yeah. But
just go to his house, be like, "Look how sick it is," and then you just turn around, drive back to Stoughton.
Have you ever looked at Randy Moss's house on weed?
Yeah, you pull that one, dude.
Yeah.
Gronk used to be my neighbor before he went to Tampa.
Oh, really? No shit.
Like one block over, he was up there, and then he owned the Dunks that I used to go to every single morning.
He was a franchisee?
He's a franchisee, yeah.
Wow, dude knows how to diversify his fucking portfolio, huh?
Yeah, he seems retarded, but he's pretty business savvy. He saved all his NFL money. He opened up some franchises.
We shouldn't talk about the Patriots too much. We're going to get hate.
Yeah, they're terrible. So terrible that, good segue into William, is I've been supporting West Ham more than forever.
Right. Okay.
Life. That's how boring this sports year has been. Is I'm like I've always liked West Ham if I'm going to pick a Premier League team, Premier League, whatever the fuck you say.
The guy who got me turned on to podcasts is a big West Ham fan. Is a journalist
supporter.
Is a radio guy from back in the late 70s, early 80s. A guy called Martin Kellner, and he's been literally fired from every radio station in England for being inappropriate.
Sick.
Not a shock
already.
It's kind of like the sort of English cringe humor where he would deliberately play a racist song or say something that was just too near the knuckle.
By the way, this is the 10th time you've brought Martin Kellner up on a podcast, by the way.
Yeah,
and no one has ever reacted in the affirmative, by the way.
What to know? Yeah, I've never heard of him.
To know who the fuck he is, yeah.
He's definitely an inside baseball guy, but he's a West Ham fan and a Jew.
All right,
all right. You had me. I was gonna say. You had me for a minute there.
Yeah. Anyway, in the first half,
we did want to kind of pill you on something for this episode. This is our opportunity to have a platform to proselytize what we call the conspiracy theory known as the Rhodes pill.
Yeah,
about old Cecil Rhodes.
Yep. And William, I think the best way to start is to say how we kind of came to this with Larry and everything.
Yeah, so we a big friend of the show of History Homos is a guy you may have heard of called Larry Bayer, who, contrary to his well-known public persona as America's best friend kind of thing,
crazy black guy.
Yeah, he's extremely well versed in kind of I don't even like to call it conspiracy theories, but
right, because that's a CIA term anyway.
Yeah, he's very well versed in what's going on behind the scenes, and we had him the first time we had him on our show. We were supposed to be talking about the Enola Gay because Larry's ex-US Air Force. And
for those who are wondering, the Enola Gay is the ship that dropped the Hiroshima bomb.
Yeah, and we kind of covered it just barely, but Larry just was dropping so much truth on us, and he in almost in passing he said, "Oh well, the American Empire is really just the same thing as the British Empire. It's just they just changed the name, kind of thing." And that had never occurred to me before, and it didn't really make an impact on me at the time. But I woke up the next morning going, "Wait a minute."
No, it was longer than that, dude. It was like a few weeks later we researched the Boer War, which we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
And then basically, so let me just start with who Cecil Rhodes is. He's a well-to-do fella in the British aristocracy of the 1800s. And he was kind of, and William kind of hit me to this, but apparently if you were like a well-to-do dude in England in this time, you would just be kind of sent off to one of the colonies to kind of make your way. Is that correct, Will?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of like not just well-to-do people; it was working-class people as well. Like it just depended. Your birth really dictated what rank you were going to have.
Right.
So it's I almost wish you had open imperial. It would be better for Americans if you had this overt imperialism.
So this avaristic desire to conquer the planet the way that we do act as an American empire.
And just pretend we don't.
Yeah. But we're also woke too at the same time. It's trans Muslim women fucking sending the drones.
Yeah. So, but it was actually run for the benefit. It was a messianic kind of mission in that the British Empire, but it really did have a mission to civilize the world.
Right.
But it also
white man's burden.
In doing so, it created an awful lot of excellent opportunities for British people of all classes, really. So, those of the upper classes went into the higher levels of administration in the colonies, and those from the gutters went into, they got out of the gutter in London and went to be a corporal in the Indian Army or something, which was better than being in the gutter in London. So it was like it was run, whether incidentally or not, for the benefit of the nation, as opposed to what it is now. I still think it's the same empire, and I don't think it's America's fault per se. But the way the empire's run now is that it just makes everybody in America and the West worse off,
right?
And affords them no opportunities, and it's just turned them into fucking consumers of stuff made by slaves in the colonies.
So give me a rundown so we got this guy Cecil Rhodes.
Yeah.
He's in the 1800s. Give me a rundown of Cecil Rhodes and his exploits, and then I want to ask you a few questions about it throughout it.
So he was a sickly child. He was like a younger child.
He was like a sickly little bitch. And fuck you, Frank. My beard is a piece of shit.
Oh, Scott's gone quiet.
Scott froze up.
He outjewed his microphone. Yeah, Cecil Rhodes was a sickly little faggot.
I'm back.
You're back.
I can hear you. He's still frozen.
So yeah, Cecil Rhodes was a sickly faggot, and he was the second son of a vicar or something like that. And he got sent off to South Africa for his health. And while he was there,
right, because it's dry down there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so he wouldn't get TB.
Oh, like an old person going to Arizona.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
makes sense.
And so he had the good fortune to find a mountain that was made out of diamonds. And so by the time he was in his early 20s, he was literally the richest man in the world.
Well, let's wait. Slow down. The person who funded the fucking purchase of the diamond mines was none other than Nathan de Rothschild.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I mean, he was basically I don't know what, I guess he was kind of the head of the central banks of most of Europe, including specifically the Bank of England, which is like one of the most pivotal banks in the central banking system.
Yeah. Yeah. Red Shield, Rothschild.
Right.
Always sticking their noses and things.
Yeah. Big noses.
So was this guy behind, because diamonds are basically not worthless, but not even close to what they're valued at.
You're picking up what we're putting down.
Was he the man behind? Because I remember there was someone behind being like, you need to get a diamond for your wife, and basically inflated the fuck out of it, right?
Exactly. That was kind of an early 1900s ad campaign. And this is coincidentally he wasn't the dude. It was basically the people who inherited the company from him. But he basically created a system in which it's literally the company that he called is called the Royal Diamond Syndicate. I know it sounds pretty cool. Yeah. But basically it was in order to, like you said, artificially inflate the price of diamonds. They would hoard them away. They would mine them continuously, hoard them away, and then create an artificial demand for them by only releasing a certain amount every year. Everyone's heard this. This is like a pretty well-known thing. Yeah. But it was basically a scheme to suck even more wealth out of the South Africa, which currently, by the way, had been settled by a courageous group known as the Boers.
Yeah. So, I mean, the history of the Boer War, you can find out more about this by listening to the episode on our podcast. But the discovery of diamonds in their land was kind of a tragedy for them in a way, because they were like hardcore literalist Protestants who had been
real Branch Davidians.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, think Branch Davidians. They've been driven out of France and Holland and all over Europe, and they'd literally gone. Yeah, they'd gone to the uninhabited part. It wasn't even inhabited by black people for the most part. They'd gone to the ends, literally the ends of the earth, where there was nobody. Because, they minded their own business to the point of saying, okay, we'll leave, we'll go where there's literally nobody else, and we'll try and make a living there as long as we can live our own way. They were fucking
kind of like Mormons in kind of modern day, like Mitt Romney's family growing up in like a compound in Mexico to try to escape jurisdiction. Be like, just leave us the fuck alone.
Except they literally went to the end of the earth.
Yeah, uncharted territories.
Yeah. Exactly. And also one of the most harsh climates imaginable as well, by the way.
Southern Africa.
Yeah.
And so a lot of these diamonds and a lot of gold was found on their territory. So these, what they call Uitlanders, guys like Cecil Rhodes, came in because they had their own like independent colonies and were self-governing. But Cecil Rhodes personally lobbied for the British Empire to take it over because it was full of diamonds and gold.
Yeah, we should also mention he's 27 years old and the richest man on the planet.
Yeah,
I've heard
crazy.
I've heard it said wealth uncountable. There wasn't even a number on it. That's how fucking rich this guy is.
And young, and like the thing, and he died young as well, as you see. So like, and he put all these systems in place through his wills and various trusts and things that he wrote, because he had this grandiose vision that. And this was part of the incorporation of South Africa. It was just the first step. He had this grand vision of a railway from the Cape
to
Cairo. And that was all part of his vision for a one world empire, which he, obviously in the terms of the day was, we have to make the whole world the British Empire.
Right. Also, he considered Africa basically like a fruit ready for the picking.
Yeah.
Like he didn't consider it that it should ever have sovereignty whatsoever. He basically considered it to be like, it's going to be England, and then we're going to have all those vast resources. Because as we know, even today, all of like the smartphones and shit we use, all those conflict minerals, as they call it, all from Africa for the most part. And then also places like fucking Afghanistan, of course, too.
All blood diamond shit.
all this Nazi overpopulation talk. Yeah, Africa's more than capable of feeding itself. It's capable of feeding the entire world.
You know, they're gonna have to figure out some things first, but
yeah. But
Bill Gates is making them eat poop and pee.
Yeah.
Repurposing into food somehow.
When it was governed under overt imperialism, just Rhodesia, which was like a small
Was
part
it Zimbabwe?
It's now Zimbabwe, yeah.
It's modern day Zimbabwe.
That used to feed the whole fucking continent of Africa. Just that.
Well, it had white farmers there. That's part of why.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all I'm saying, it had white farmers.
Oh, yeah.
Who weren't being
I see what you're saying.
By the imperial power, and now there's still white farmers in Africa, but they're being fucked over by the EU and NAFTA and all that shit.
They're getting tie necklaces, dude.
The IMF too. Don't forget. I got Confessions of an Economic Hitman right up here.
I mean, we're digressing from the narrative here, but my take on it is that this post-imperialist world allegedly is a lot worse for Africa, not because imperialism was so good, but just because every kind of rich market has protected itself from Africa to the degree where nobody can make a living there, and that's why they have famine and they can't feed themselves, is because they don't have any kind of free access to the world market.
Right.
But let's leave that there and move on and stick with the Cecil Rhodes story.
Yeah.
So he's
basically,
crushing it.
Yeah. What's it called? So anyway, what happened was, like you said, so basically, like you said before, Cecil Rhodes kind of called on behalf of the British Empire, which obviously had major connections with, because he was A, the richest man in the world, and B, he had a lot of connections. I mean, he got Nathan Rothschild to put up the money for his diamond mine.
So he got like a sponsorship, like a Christopher Columbus type, to go down there.
Yeah.
Right.
Almost like a Rhodes Scholarship.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
A lot of people actually are familiar with the Rhodes Scholarship, just not Rhodesia and Cecil Rhodes himself, which I was one of them for a while.
Yeah.
Like you hear, Rhodes Scholars, and it's all shady dudes or huge fucking powerful.
Well, that's no mistake, and you'll find out why later.
Yeah, we'll keep going.
What's it called? So he basically got the British to come and fucking fight and slaughter a bunch of people who are just trying to chill, man.
Yeah.
Are these black Africans?
No, these were white guys. These were all Dutch. Yeah, the Dutch.
Yeah.
And they were ended up being
Afrikaners of modern day.
I think they're
exactly. Yeah,
isn't that what they're called, William?
Afrikaners.
Afrikaners.
I mean, they've been in South Africa.
Accent.
They've been in South Africa for like 400 years.
Yeah,
and
longer than most of the other people who are living there. No offense.
No one was living there.
I think
exactly.
Said, right? Yeah.
Even there's, I'm not sure. There were a couple of small tribes scattered around.
Yeah, there were the people actually, specifically the guy who the tribe that Nelson Mandela belonged to, which is why they picked him, by the way. Yeah. But he was belonged to the tribe that existed there prior. But they had pretty friendly relations with the Boers, though.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I mean, like this is a bit like the Hitler thing, where fascism's associated with racism, but actually everybody was racist in those days. Same thing with the Boers. Yeah, sure, they were racist, but so was everybody. Including
not to like a fanatic degree, just you.
Exactly.
Racist as the layman right now would be.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, I would say probably more because it's the 1800s.
Meaning like as racist as the average person is.
Yes, I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
It's not like, I mean, it's like painted now that, the Boers were racist. That's why we had to fight.
To modern day standards, they were, but for their day, they were just people.
They were exactly as racist as the British were, is what I'm saying. But Cecil Rhodes, everybody says.
Oh, yeah, I have his Confession of Faith, which is his first will and testament.
Yeah.
Which all of this springs from, essentially. But he says that he believes. So he had some pretty.
This is his will that he wrote in his fucking 20s.
Right.
20s.
The fucking freak.
Well, I mean, he was the richest man in the world. You got to have a will,
true.
Even if you're in your 20s.
Whacked or accident.
He did only die at 52, not for nothing. But anyway, he says this is what his belief on the Anglo-Saxon race. I contend that we are the finest race in the world, and that the more, this is sound clip this, by the way. I contend that we are the finest race in the world, and that the more of the world that we inhabit, the better it is for the human race. Just fancy those parts that are at present inhabited by the most despicable specimens of human beings. What an alteration there would be if they were brought under Anglo-Saxon influence.
Spaniards.
Look again, Portuguese. Look again at the extra employment in a new country, rule of threes, baby, added to our dominion's gifts. Anyway, but basically he goes on to say that he's a member of the Masons, and he mentions them in this. And he also mentions that there are other secret societies that exist, such as the Jesuits. I know there's a pretty pedestrian view that all conspiracy theorists believe that it's all one, kind of, and we're kind of guilty of this to a degree, but that it's all one giant conspiracy. But he acknowledges that there are other conspiracies going on in his will and testament. But he basically says that he kind of wants to, emulate the Jesuits and use, so he wants to emulate the Jesuits in what they do. And he also says, quote, about the Masons.
By the Jesuits, is he referring to what we know as the Illuminati?
No, the Jesuits I'm talking about within the Catholic Church.
Right, okay.
Yeah, because you said the Freemasons were around. I think those would be akin to the Illuminati, right?
Here's this quote about the Masons. At the present day, I become a member of the Masonic order, and I see the wealth and power they possess, the influence they hold, and I think over their ceremonies, and I wonder that a large body of men can devote themselves to what at times appear the most ridiculous and absurd rites without an object and without an end. And basically he figured that there could be a group of people like the Masons, but actually try to hold power in the way that he, felt that he had the ability to do so with wealth and banking. And
that's funny to say, though, because then he's saying, the Freemasons are just all getting together to do these goofy rites.
That's that's the juice.
Yeah.
That's, in my opinion, that's the juice. Because I think the Mason thing is a total psyop.
You think he's just trying to throw you off the scent?
No. I'm saying the Masons thing is a psyop. This is the real fucking juice.
I got you.
Yeah.
The Masons thing is really just a bunch of eccentric weirdos.
Yeah, they're a bunch of fucking gay guys who hop. Yeah, well, no, they also hop on one foot.
Was it Nixon who said, he's like, that's the fraggiest place I've ever been to?
Yes,
like
he did say that.
What was his quote?
His direct quote was, he was talking to, I believe, Donald Rumsfeld, now that I'm thinking about it, lizard person, noted lizard person.
About, what's it called? The fuck's Bohemian Grove.
Bohemian Grove, yeah, with Moloch and shit. Yeah, no, he said, I went down to that, that Bohemian Grove, about the faggiest thing I ever seen.
Noel McDonald's take on Nixon is that he wasn't such a bad guy because
I like Nixon.
I don't think he really was either, man.
Yeah.
Same thing, like when people are like, he hated Jews and. He said fag and this, that, and the other.
So what are you saying? What are you saying is wrong with him?
Exactly. Well, not only that, but like it was the 70s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Come on, man. That was the time. Like that's like saying someone was racist.
The Jews, Henry.
That's like going back to our Boston Busing episode, saying someone was racist on either side in the 70s. It's like, that's just what everyone was, dude.
Yeah.
Like you can't look at history through today's.
It's insane.
Lens.
Well, that's what they want to do because that's a convenient way to dismiss history.
And this was Cecil Rhodes' lens because, if you're not, Cecil Rhodes at least said that he thought the British were superior, but he wasn't saying white people were superior.
Anglo-Saxons.
In this very document, apart from being British. Anybody was his definition of a man, as in
this is interesting.
Was anybody who could write their own name. So he was
and could pay his own bills too.
All right,
yeah. So he was not racist at all.
So maybe his term of like these filthy savages was pretty spot on. Because if you can't write your own name and you're a grown man, maybe you should get genocided or at least colonized. You can't write your own name.
Yeah, he wasn't a genocide guy. Was
he a eugenicist in any way? They usually tend to be.
No, he gave birth.
He was an imperialist.
Kind of neoliberalism. This sort of this kind of Tony Blair, Bill Clinton sort of attitude.
Like a war hawk.
Well,
liberal.
Yeah, definitely.
I would say more like he just thought under the correct guidance, we can shepherd them along the way we want to go.
He was a progressive.
Yeah,
you could call it progressive, social democrat.
Yeah, like Woodrow Wilson too.
Same thing. Yeah.
He was also a known homosexual as well, right?
Yeah.
Rig-a-ding-ding, by the way.
Okay. And that's his faults. I mean, I listened to a Carol Quigley interview today, and he kept saying about these associates of various associates in the Round Table, which was the group that Scott's getting to saying that Rhodes set up. He says,
right,
and this guy was this guy's roommate for like 15 years.
By the way, also the guy
Carol Quigley.
Carol Quigley. By the way, I listened to the same interview. I sent it to William. By the way, it is a girl's name, but he has he's got a Paul Fenz Boston accent, dude.
Carol Quigley does?
He's certainly, this is the only known recording of him. And he's going, yeah, so in 1942, I go over to England. I check out the Chatham Houses, all their documents.
I don't think you're really eagle-eyed for that, Scott. You're right.
Yeah.
He is trying to affect.
I mean, come on, I live here.
Yeah, exactly.
You're absolutely right.
He grew up 15 minutes from me and still lives 15 minutes from me. Like I'm in different
the other
spots.
direction, though.
The other way.
Yeah.
He's trying to affect like a transatlantic accent.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, is it the
That's
Mr.
so
Feeney,
true, yes.
or like the early 1900s?
No, I thought he was going to be Mr. Feeney. Yeah, when I envisioned his voice, it was Mr. Feeney. Oh, thank you. I'm going to be like that. Yeah, but no,
it's not like Cary Grant, but he ends up, when he gets like emotional, he starts going, "Yeah, kid."
No, he literally he said, and listen to this. I kept hearing him say that.
So was it more like a FDR, or someone back there, like only thing we have to fear, like that kind of old timey radio?
The only way, dude, it's literally is definite JFK.
Okay,
definite JFK. Yeah,
he does have a crutch. It's not but it's something like that.
It's something like, and it's something, or fuck it. I want to say it was listen to this. Oh, and get this. He kept saying.
So anyway, listeners, the reason we're talking about Carol Quigley is
he wrote the book literally.
Yeah, he wrote the book on the Rhodes bill,
and he was Bill Clinton's mentor, I believe. Correct.
Yep. I just bought the book, and there's the quote on the back of the book is from, because normally books have like, different, like, oh wow, this book was so awesome or whatever, the Chicago Tribune or whatever. This one was from Bill Clinton saying Carol Quigley was a massive influence on my political thinking and et cetera, and so forth.
Quigley exposed the Rhodes network,
right?
In the preface to the Anglo-American the Anglo-American Establishment, which is the book I'm reading at the moment.
The Anglo-American Establishment, 1981.
Yep,
I'm on his fucking
posthumous,
page.
Of course.
Yep, he was born in Boston, went to Harvard.
Yep.
Yeah, sounds about right.
So at the beginning of that book, in the introduction, he says, "Look, I'm not opposed to the aims of the Rhodes Round Table. I just don't think they should be able to get away with being secret.
Right.
And this is what I've learned about them."
Got you.
So he is Quigley was an imperialist.
He's the bad guys,
himself.
Dude.
Yeah.
As much as we like his accent, he's still the bad guys.
Yeah, but at least he's honest.
That's true.
At the end,
he's a real journalist.
Yeah, typical Boston, probably Catholic. At the end of his life, he's like, I'll confess.
Quigley, that sounds Irish. Yeah, I would bet he's Catholic.
That is Irish. I have a buddy, Eric Quigley, who's Irish.
Yeah, it's as Irish as you can fucking get. Is Quigley.
Anyway, so let's get some more Cecil Rhodes quotes in here. So basically, he says, why should we not form a secret society with but one object, the furtherance of the British Empire and bringing of the whole uncivilized world under British rule for the recovery of the United States and making the Anglo-Saxon race but one empire?
That was leading into one of my questions for this whole thing. Is it takes place in the late 1800s? How is this American English empire type thing? And now it makes sense. He wants to recover it.
He's already said it, and he wrote this in. Let's see what year he wrote. 1877. He had this plan.
All right, so a fucking century later.
Yeah.
He goes, let's get that shit back. All right, because I didn't know if there was a conspiracy where it never left the empire. They were trying to get it back. So his vision was to get it back.
Essentially, yeah. He also said, and there's some more. I'm only reading like the highlighted stuff for this, like the real meaty shit.
Yeah.
But because it's fucking like, I think it's like 20,000 words, the whole thing.
Yeah, we'll just take the meat off the bone.
Right. Well, here's what he has to say about Africa. Africa is still lying ready for us. It is our duty to take it. It is our duty to seize every opportunity of acquiring more territory, and we should keep this one idea steadily before our eyes, that more territory simply means more of the Anglo-Saxon race and more of the best of humans, the most honorable race the world possesses. To forward such a scheme, what a splendid help a secret society would be, a society not openly acknowledged, but who would work in secret for such an object. Here we go.
Sounds about right.
Amen, brother.
Yeah. I mean, the first part, yes. The secret society part, chill out, dude.
Yeah.
You know?
My best friend when I was a little kid, his dad was a big shot in the local Freemasons.
Dude, there's a lodge a block over from me, and
there's a few blocks where I get off the highway every day. Yeah,
literally, I walk my dog by it all the time. Literally 1 block over.
I've said this on a podcast before. I actually got an offer to be a Mason.
Yeah, fuck that, dude. Well, did obviously because of your heritage.
No. They actually, the guy who asked me to join, he said, "So, I know you're Jewish. Do you like go to temple, or you like do you believe in God and stuff?"
Point proven.
No, but
that was his opener.
But the point was, I go, no, I'm not really religious. I don't believe in God. And he goes, well, I'm sorry, I can't let you in.
Yeah, you need to believe in some kind of higher power.
Yeah,
is one of the rules of Freemasonry. But yeah, when BLM was chimping out, I wanted to go throw like a brick or a Molotov cocktail through the Freemason lodge. Just because like nothing was going on in my town.
Solid bit.
This is something. So whenever somebody comes up on our show, what we like to do. Oh dear William, what is out that door? It's Dipey. I went and got myself a beer.
Oh yeah.
Oh, out that door. That's outside. I live in a small house.
Oh, that's the basement where the victims are.
Yeah. So
he's got the Bundy glasses on, dude.
Yeah. He's got a small Asian boy with Drano in his brain over there.
He's either Bundy or Koresh. Either one.
Yeah. He wants to be Koresh.
I want to be Koresh. That's what I want to be. Yeah. I say I want to be Dharma, but
speaking
really
of Davidians.
Yeah. So seriously. Anyway, though, what's it called though? So basically what happened was after this time in 1877, essentially Rhodes wants to take over the rest of South Africa for England. And he does so by completely agitating the Boers he literally does like a false flag, basically.
Sick.
And he sends
classic secret society move.
It's called it was called the Jameson raid, and he sent a bunch of dudes who worked. So we got to explain here. So Rhodesia was where all of the diamonds are coming from. This is what is now Zimbabwe, and the Boers were living in northern South Africa, which is parallel west from where Zimbabwe is.
Yep.
And they were holding on to another diamond mine that he wanted to add to his collection, essentially. And so he essentially dressed up a bunch of people who worked for the British South Africa Company, which is essentially his. William, what would you?
We love dressing up.
You do. British people do love dressing up. No, but we've had talks about this before. Like,
sounds so old school. Like the Utah company, like going out west.
And that's the thing is basically there were all these nationalized.
What's the movie I'm thinking of?
There Will Be Blood.
Yes, thank you. You already knew what I was talking about. Like
Yes.
that type of shit.
Yeah.
We're moving into
I love
your
that movie,
land.
by the way.
What a great
I
film.
drink your diamonds.
Yeah. Dude, I almost cried. When his son went deaf, I almost cried. It's so sad. And then he just like ships him off.
But that's the thing is I didn't cry because I saw how I was upset, obviously, by how awful he was.
Yeah.
But it's such an insane character that you almost have to admire him in a way.
Yeah, he had a bowling alley in his house in like the fucking early 1900s.
It was literally probably 5 or 6 years after bowling was invented.
Yeah, maybe late 1800s, and he's got like one UC
at
under
that point.
a
I think
Catholic
it was.
school.
I think the end of the movie is like 1911 or something.
Yeah, it's like Red Dead Redemption times.
Essentially,
he's got a fucking indoor bowling alley. But anyways, I digress. So
it's fine. I love talking about that movie. I love that fucking movie.
He's got the what's it called? The South African Mining Company.
No, South African. So basically, it's the same because they have the East India Company. They have the British East India Company. This is the British South Africa Company. There was the British West India Company. There was all these fucking companies.
And the South Africa one was the last one to be set up, and Cecil Rhodes campaign
was the OG. Yeah, he was the HNIC, if you will.
Imagine them handing that over to a 20-something-year-old, just being like, "Go get it done."
Crazy.
That's
his whole life was
nuts,
fucked.
dude.
Yeah. I mean, can you even blame him for cooking up this scheme, being what an insane fucking story he has?
I'm honestly impressed how smart a 20-something-year-old that became the richest man in the world was just like, all right, let me create this grand scheme too. Like, that's pretty intelligent of him. You know what I mean?
And
usually...
Let me just say in his favor, he loved cock.
That's what I'm saying. You get that much money, you figure it would just be like
that's the
stimulants and dick.
Right. I had this theory, though, that the thing that he's gay, we already know he was a little fucking nonce of a man.
Wasn't that a pedophile?
Nonce is a kid fucker.
It means pedophile.
I was gonna say,
but come on, you don't think he would turn a fucking kid around?
Well, no, he might pour Drano into its head. But no, he'd only do that if he was straight. Remember, we came up with the theory that Dharma was, in fact, a straight man.
Oh, right, but he was such an incel that he decided to make women out of men by dumbing them down.
Yeah. The way you make a woman is pouring Drano into a young Asian boy's head.
Yeah, the original Thai lady boy.
Yeah.
Just Drano in a fucking funnel.
Anyway, but what's it called? So he so basically he initiated the Second Boer War by doing something called the Jameson raid, where he did a false flag where he got a bunch of dudes who worked for him essentially to dress up like villagers and go and quote unquote revolt against the Boer rule of the next town where there was the diamonds in. And they got owned royally, no pun intended, by the Boers, because the Boers, I don't know, and listen to our episode about this. We get pretty deep into it. Also listen to our episode with Des Latham. He really had a lot to say about the technological and military capabilities of the Boers, which is fucking insane and cool.
Yeah. Yeah. The Boer War is
they invented trench warfare.
Yeah. And well, go back and listen to our shit on the Boer War because it's really
we're not going to get into it. Yeah. But what's it called? So this started an insanely brutal, I want to say 4 or 5 year war in which they had to basically they fucking holocausted the Boers. They put them into concentration camps. No, Boers means farmers, but they were the Protestants.
People.
Yeah.
No, these are Protestants.
These are the Dutch guys. Yeah.
They literally moved them to concentration camps in places like St. Helena and Hawaii and fucking shitholes like that.
Shipping someone to Hawaii in the late 1800s.
The only way they could end the war was by kidnapping all the women and children and sending all the prisoners of war and women and children to the other side of the world. And some of them managed to get back as well. There's some fucking great stories, which we do cover on our shows. But those guys were like Branch Davidians on a grand scale
a global scale.
Yeah. Except as evil as the British Empire was, it wasn't evil enough to just set them all on fire.
Yeah. or not, but but what's it called? But no, also not just that, but they did push them into, even in South Africa, they pushed them into concentration camps where a lot of them died of typhus and whatnot, you know, and all that kind of shit. And a lot of kids, mostly kids died, which is the kind of most controversial part of it.
Brutal.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up. But anyway, so it's worth mentioning that Alfred Milner, who is basically Rhodes's butt buddy, who also, by the way, is a German-born guy who worked his way up because he was such an Anglophile into Parliament and got himself assigned down at the South Africa rather, in order to be with this fucking gay lover Cecil Rhodes. Yeah. And they were basically the genesis of what is now known as the Round Table. And at the time it was called the Cecil Rhodes Group.
Oh, that's a shitty name for a syndicate.
I know. Well, they got way better names later, obviously.
Yeah, I like the Syndicate of gay sex.
The Diamond Syndicate? Yeah.
Whatever the fuck was the other name was sick.
The KY Syndicate.
Yeah.
No, but so
think these guys created AIDS?
Possibly. I mean, a lot of black people think that white people invented AIDS. So I mean, I guess
a lot
they are
of
white
Sicilians who are basically black people like myself think that they might have created AIDS as well.
Well, I think if history teaches anything, it's that black people are right about everything.
They were the original conspiracy theorists, quote unquote. I know that's a CIA term, but
well, I mean, if you study the assassination of MLK, you can see why.
And Malcolm X.
Right.
Both of them. Very shady.
Yeah, we should do an episode on that too.
Literally unbelievable.
Malcolm X fucking rules, dude. I like him.
Yeah, I got his autobiography right over here, actually.
Him talking shit. I quoted him on, I forget which offensive episode, but he's basically, to paraphrase, his quote is like, the white liberal is the most dangerous enemy to the black man.
Or something.
The fox and the wolf. Yeah. Basically, where the conservative is the wolf, you know that he wants something to do with you, but to just fuck you up or whatever. He's like, but the white liberal's a fox. He'll sneak his way in and pretend to be
steal your eggs.
Steal your eggs right out of the hen house, dude.
Right.
Yeah, fucking hell, isn't that right as well?
Yeah,
So
it's true, man.
It's a Holocaust a year, isn't it, of black babies getting murdered?
It's
shit, good point.
Since the Negro League was
so about 3 million, between 200,000 and 3 million black babies are killed every year.
Yeah, just a half of a, unrealistic Holocaust number.
Yeah.
Half of that per year by the Negro Project.
But anyway, so and also Milner, by the way, is in bed with the British media, we should mention. That's kind of how he worked his way up. And he kind of sanitizes this whole Boer Holocaust that's going on for the press by acting like it's a stand-up war and they've been fighting and losing and it's taken very long because there's elections going on back in England where they had to cover for their candidates, their boys.
Not that elections ever really mattered because,
of course, because they own everything, but it's not the point.
Yeah,
it's the show. It's the show.
Yeah,
it's for the show. But anyway, what's it called? So basically, the Boer War ends in the Boers' defeat, and some of the higher up guys in the Boers get to have a nominal position as like the governor of a certain part of South Africa or whatever.
Well, I mean, to be honest, so there was the Orange Free State and Natal, and I think
the Transvaal
and the Transvaal. What's
going on in Transvaal?
Transvaal just means they crossed over the Vaal River, but yeah.
I thought they would change their agenda.
They're cutting their Vaals off.
Yeah.
They were the 3 states that were controlled by the Boers. And within like a handful of years after they were defeated in the Boer War, the British gave them control of those back. And then when South Africa eventually became federated as part of the Commonwealth, it was all the Boer leaders who were in charge. So that like the war was
literally a waste of time, brother war.
It was totally pointless. It wasn't.
It's all Dutch now. It's not British.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it never even turned into the South African Empire, let alone the fucking.
But they knew that they had to answer to their. they had to answer to their fucking masters, though, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole conflict's totally fucked up. But like so this really one of the things so it's the mainstream view of Rhodes is that he had this vision of a world empire, right?
Right. This is the blue pill take.
Yeah. So the blue pill take is there's lots of people who know a lot about it. They'll say, yeah, well, you know, Cecil Rhodes had this view of a world empire, and unfortunately, he died, and it never came to reality because they're just taking it at face value that he referred to it as the British Empire. But there is a world empire now, and it's all controlled by
Jews.
It's all controlled by round
part
table,
of it.
like World Economic Forum. You know the whole list of these things.
Yeah. WHO,
the UN, like, but, well, let me get into it a little more.
Yeah, let's skip to the red pill version of it.
Yeah. All right. So basically, well, this Milner guy, we gotta talk about this Milner guy. He basically appointed all of his friends into Parliament when he got back to. He started something that was kind of an outer ring of the original Cecil Rhodes group that he called the Kindergarten, because again, I mentioned before, he's a German, and they're all young guys. Okay. So they also, by the way, all faggots, I should mention. Yeah. So they essentially took over Parliament in the beginning of the 1900s. So we should also mention Cecil Rhodes died of being a fat smoker at age 52 in 1902.
He probably invented AIDS.
He did, yes. That's how he fucking died. You're right.
That was my theory.
Yeah, he got fucked in the ass by so many Africans that he created a super bug.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the round table. So first of all, they got together and with a guy named Lionel Curtis, who and Milner and Philip Kerr. They're all people who worked in South Africa at the time that Cecil Rhodes died, essentially, and they went back to England basically to assert their control of everything. So they
worked in South Africa, and their job was fucking Cecil Rhodes to death.
Job completed, lads. Let's go back to London.
Yeah,
but the thing was that they all with the media contacts and the parliamentary contacts and the royal arse liquor contacts, they engineered the First World War. Because almost wholly separately to this, if you look at it from a British Empire point of view, if you don't have this Cecil Rhodes idea of consolidating it into an entire world empire, right? What's the point in Great Britain getting involved in World War One?
Literally none.
Yeah.
There's none, because
the only German beef.
Yeah, the only downside for Britain of World War One is that it will consolidate the Dutch, Belgian, French, and German empires into one empire that's still not as big as the British Empire. And so that issue was used to lobby the British government into, and bear in mind, most of the ministers in the British government were part of this secret society anyway.
Yes, they're all homos that fucked each other.
That's why they went in, because it was the consolidation of all the other European empires was against this Rhodesian idea of a one world empire. It would give you two almost equal empires,
right,
competing against.
Not good enough for these guys.
It wouldn't have been so fucking bad, and millions of people wouldn't have had to die in World War One, and World War Two never would have happened.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have Peaky Blinders. You know what I mean? They were all, the Shelby boys were all veterans of the Great War.
Yeah. So, but this is really the first great big evil act that the Round Table did, was making never mind American involvement in World War II, which people have started talking about now. British involvement in World War One is where it all went wrong, and that was 100% down to these motherfucking faggots.
Yeah, and not just that, but also they saw opportunities to be able to rework the map in the Middle East, where there was now fighting going on, and whatever they gained, essentially they would have a taste. And by the way, it's worth mentioning that this Milner guy and this what's his name, Philip Kerr and Curtis. they were big players in the Treaty of Versailles.
Yeah, and they were also very instrumental in setting up some new country in the Middle East somewhere, Syria or what? What it's called.
Well, let's mention that. Yes, Lord Balfour, Lord Balfour co-signed with Milner and Nathan de Rothschild. And a number of other people to create some Middle Eastern country. I'm forgetting the name now.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Maybe Syria or Iran. No. Oh, yeah. Oh, fuck. I can't remember what country it was.
It's I want to say Lebanon. No, it's near Lebanon.
Whatever. It's a little west of there.
Yeah.
So they set that whole thing up. And that was basically a linking of.
So what did that fail in the First World War? So they're like, all right, we'll put it in the second one.
Well, the thing was, they gave at the end of the Balfour. Hang on, let me literally pull this up right now. The Balfour Declaration. This is the guarantee of land for the Jewish people to inhabit Palestine, which was at the time a British colony.
Yeah, and Palestine's just Syria. They've never been in their own place.
Yeah, they're kind of, I think, minority of Syria, but yes.
Yeah. That book I mentioned earlier, the Anglo-American Establishment, was actually written in 1949 by Carroll Quigley, and in the preface to that, he bemoans it as part of his proclaiming the fact that he's an imperialist and he shares the aims of the Rhodes Group. He bemoans the fact that Palestine looks like it's going to leave the British Empire. And so that's how British Palestine was. It was that they were rumbling, immediately post World War II. He thought Palestine was going to get its independence. How little did he know? And he was the foremost expert on this shit.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
But not just so basically it was the declaration that they were going to that the British Empire would do what it could in the future to establish a Jewish state, essentially. And that basically was the piece of paper in Parliament that was passed through Parliament to say post World War II that would, literally give them the land and whatnot.
Yeah.
Also, not for nothing, a lot of Jews did just move following this, the Balfour Declaration. A lot of Jews just moved there because they were, they're promised their fucking land.
They fucking tailgating for Israel, dude.
It literally became a land war, though. It became like almost like a Vietnam kind of situation where there was like villages versus villages and kind of shit. Like that.
If they'd have just sort of delayed the establishment of Israel until they'd invented modern monetary theory, they could have just printed a load of money with which to buy all the land in Israel. And everybody would have been happy, wouldn't they? Because modern monetary theory is completely bulletproof. And yes, money doesn't really exist, and we can just pretend there's more of it than there is.
Right.
Not on their watch.
Yeah. No. Well, they haven't really got to that point of monetary depravity in 1949, had they? That's a post 1980 invention.
They're still trying to gain the weight back from the early 40s.
Yeah.
Drinking Slim Fast.
So anyway, after World War I, though, which, by the way, aided by America, they really needed our backup. But following that,
you think Pearl Harbor was a false flag to get us into it?
Absolutely, it was.
You think so? I heard you guys thinking on like the same line as, America going into the second one was similar to why the fuck did UK get involved in the first one?
Yeah.
Like, well, they got bombed, but yeah, like I was just listening to something of how excited Churchill was to hear that Pearl Harbor got bombed. He's like, fucking finally. You guys are on your last legs over there, dude.
Yeah.
London's getting fucking crushed every single night. Blitz but really, the name of my first shepherd. But yeah, go ahead.
I think everything that happened in World War II was an inevitable consequence.
I want a shepherd named Blondie.
Inevitable consequence.
Blitzkrieg was a great name for one. Inevitable consequence of what?
Of the Treaty of Versailles. Which
how bad the Germans got fucked over. After the pointy helmet.
But that never would have happened if it hadn't have been for the British getting involved in World War I. Because, I mean, Germany would have overrun Europe.
Yeah, they were too powerful.
Easily.
There was no Europe without Germany.
Yeah,
they were the powerhouse.
And a lot of people. What a lot of people forget is that
what the fucking French, the French are just like, I am retired.
Yeah.
Like fucking.
I can't believe they were considered a superpower too up until that time, France.
Yeah, at the beginning of the 20th century, Germany was a brand new country as well, more or less. It was like the America of Europe. And which I would say Poland is now. Poland's the America of Europe.
Poland's crushing it.
Yeah, it's all
based Poland.
Boys over there.
Poland is based. Shout out base Poland.
Yeah.
But anyway, so following the First World War, though, let's skip quickly through the World War I, because I mean, we could talk all day about the specific moves of different players in the Round Table Group, but let's just call it the Round Table Group. Oh, speaking of which, William just got up, but Happy New Year, William.
I just have to put logs on. Oh, is it that time?
It's 7:02, buddy.
All right, wait a minute. I'll go get the champagne.
Okay. Anyway, I'll tell you, Paul. So they got together at the Majestic Hotel in London, and they basically said, this is what we're going to do. We're going to create a shell upon shell upon shell of organizations in which all of the people that we're associated with, private and public and military, all three different types of class of people, we're going to create these different groups in which we can all be a part of two, but not three of. And that way we can influence policy using the vast money that we have, because we're all rich and politically connected, in order to push public policy to where we want it to go.
Yeah.
So they started something called the Chatham House, which is also known as the Royal Institute of Foreign Affairs. And also they started something called the Council for Foreign Relations. Recent news bringing that up would be the group of people that Biden bragged about having that Ukrainian judge fired. That's the Council for Foreign Relations. And also, who else? The Bilderberg Group. At the Bilderberg Hotel. They were all basically created all simultaneously. Am I getting everything right here, William?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, as far as David Icke's the expert on this.
Yes, hell yes, love Ike.
And I'm also referencing real history here with the fact that they got together at the Majestic Hotel to set this all up and whatnot. And just things go on, and you look at what this Council for Foreign Relations and the Chatham Group do. They push for every war. They push for every they're the people pushing this COVID shit.
Yeah,
they are. They're the people pushing everything. They're the ones who created the United Nations. They were the people who got the idea in Woodrow Wilson's head that we should start the League of Nations.
Those motherfuckers.
Yeah, and let's not forget, these are a lot of the same people who started one Federal Reserve.
Yep, there he goes. Took him a while. Which also led to the EU, I would say, the League of Nations, UN.
Yes, in fact, this guy who I was talking about before, where is his name? Lionel Curtis. He actually was, basically an early follower of Rhodes, but he decided, based off of the book of a Jewish guy named Zimmer. I can't remember his first name, maybe Augustus Zimmer, Abraham Zimmer. He wrote a book called The Commonwealth, or the Federation of Nations, it was called. And he advocated for a global federation or commonwealth of nations for all one common goal. And this guy, Lionel Curtis, who, by the way, was the media magnate, so he was the media arm of this. Yeah. He was the one who basically, he ended up getting into power and in Parliament, and ended up being one of the loudest voices for the transformation from the British Empire into the British Commonwealth. William.
Okay.
Yeah, Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year. You line me fuck.
From fucking shithole England.
Oh, man, I want to go get more champagne.
It's a wet cold.
It's a wet cold. It's a wet, mild here right now. Oh, yeah, I actually did hear some.
Oh, I can't hear it now.
I hope that guy has a license for those.
Yeah. Oi, mate, you got a license for that?
You got a license for those fucking fireworks?
William, real quick, I'm currently raping and pillaging your entire country in Assassin's Creed Valhalla in the the 9th century. It rules, yeah.
Well, just spit on it before you shove it in.
Yeah, I'm currently in Shropshire.
Shropshire, nice place. It's lovely.
Modern day Birmingham, right?
Well, yeah, it's around that area. Yeah, it's second-class cricket county, but still, it's
the last area is Northumbria. So your fucking land, you're the north.
No, it's south of there, but yeah.
Oh, you're south of there, never mind.
Yeah, I don't. Has it not got an area called Yorkshire in it?
I don't know. It's
what a gay game.
It's in the 800s. It's when the Vikings came over. It's got like Mercia, East Anglia, Wessex. England isn't even England yet.
I have a friend who runs one of the best pubs in Yorkshire, and he's about 6'5", about 300 pounds. He's got ginger hair and ginger beard, and looks 100% minus the helmet with the horns on it. He's 100% Viking. And he goes, you know what, William? You know what it means if you look like a Viking? I says, no. He goes, it means your great grandma was shit at running.
It's true, dude. He's not lying. Yeah. I'm currently doing it in a PlayStation game right now.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, I'm just taking over. But all right, so let's fast forward here. When does he die? When is he dead?
Oh, Cecil Rhodes died in 1902. So really, Milner is the guy. Milner is the guy.
So his gay German lover is the Klaus Schwab of back then.
Yes, literally. Klaus Schwab is a Rhodes Scholar.
Of course he is. That fucking dude. He's wearing like Sith robes.
Yeah.
And, like release an IMF podcast on the Great Reset. That fucking guy.
What's really fucking scary about it is that how much kind of true believers these people are in this secret society, because Cecil Rhodes died in the very early days of the Round Table, and yet it stuck. If you read anything about it from the bootlicky historians who think it's a good thing, they really have stuck to Cecil Rhodes's original plan. It's almost like it. Like you could go, oh, well, he probably would have changed his mind about this or that.
I was just thinking that because he was in his 20s and then,
whatever. Well, he died at age 50, and he re-upped his second will is not public. But the first one is the one we were reading from.
They basically stuck to the letter of his
essentially,
wishes. Yeah. And I just discovered this because whenever we're talking about people, I always do a quick check to see if they're a Rhodes Scholar. And for those out there, if you want to do that, there's a website called Rhodes House, RHODES house.ox.ac.uk. And I look at it regularly because just to see if this creep I'm thinking about is
Mayor Pete Butt stuff, recent Cory Booker, both recent Rhodes Scholars.
Dude, there's a whole crew of them with Tulsi Gabbard, and they were all with Klaus Schwab. And who's the one-eyed Republican? Crenshaw. He was also with them.
Oh my God! I've been saying he's CIA for fucking months, dude.
He's a plant, man.
He's absolute fucking CIA.
You know what really bums me out is Tulsi Gabbard was in the same class as him.
No,
really? Pete Butt stuff.
Mommy Coconut Milky.
Tulsi Gabbard, they were all.
I like her. I mean, maybe she's
a plant, dude.
But not everybody sticks to it.
No,
not all the Rhodes Scholars are evil. There are.
Crenshaw looks.
We
evil.
actually looked at. Yeah, Crenshaw definitely is.
Yeah,
but there are people who have.
He's zogged
kind of had to. Yeah. There's that guy who lives in Canada who's basically a hermit, isn't there? Who's a Rhodes Scholar because he kind of rebelled against the globalist agenda. I forget the name of it. We've talked about him before, but there are examples of people who have been Rhodes Scholars and turned out good. So let's just hope Tulsi's one of those.
Okay.
She does seem to have fucking balls of steel, to be honest.
Right, but hang on. I have open right now. First of all, the Chatham House is the first organization that was founded by the Round Table. And let me just go through some of the notable donors to the Chatham House think tank. Department for International Development, UK. The Open Society Foundations, you'll recognize as the George Soros group.
Oh, yeah. That motherfucker, dude.
Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
Yeah, no shit.
Chevron, the gas oil company.
That's interesting.
The Carnegie Corporation of New York, BP, ExxonMobil.
Exxon's is that the New Jersey one that used to be?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
What is it? Howard Hughes one.
Yes. I think I know what you're talking about. And yes. The Japanese Central Bank. Royal Dutch Shell. Where else we go? Anonymous gave $249 million or $100,000. AIG, the British Army. The British Army is giving them money.
Fucking unreal.
The European Climate Foundation, Facebook.
Yeah. How can the British Army have money to donate?
The World Health Organization.
Yeah. To give my kid a fucking pay rise.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Where else? We keep going. Barclays.
I mean, this really fucking shows you the extent.
Lockheed Martin, JP Morgan, Mitsubishi.
Like the British Army.
Rolls Royce. Not even they're safe.
Yeah, a lot of these corporations.
UNICEF.
Kind of quasi-governmental, but for
NATO.
But for something as publicly owned as the British Army to be giving donations to a body
think
like
tank.
It's incredible.
Yeah, there was another one like UNICEF is supposedly, which it's not anymore, is supposedly a charity. Somehow has more money to donate to another.
The BBC, dude.
That's like Boston
BBC,
Police donating to something else.
It's open fascism.
Service. Yeah.
It's not crypto fascism anymore.
The British and American Red Cross.
Of course. Rothschild, Red Cross, or Red Shield.
Yeah. ExxonMobil again. The Economist. I can keep going forever.
Right, where's the Clinton Foundation? That's going to be on there.
But I'm sure it's here. I don't feel like looking for it, but it's many. I'm scrolling and scrolling.
Shout out to a noble outsider here, right? The Economist magazine.
Bank of England.
The last time I read an article in it, it was during the whole Brexit thing, and they were saying that the Economist magazine said there are no serious economists arguing in favor of Brexit. Right? I had just finished watching a video of a certain Bernard Connolly arguing for just that. Now, is Bernard Connolly a serious economist? Well, look at it this way. He was the head of the European Commission monetary policy unit until 1995 when he got fired for writing a book about how shit it was.
So he knows what he's talking about.
So maybe he's an economist that knows something about it, given that he was in charge of it 10 years earlier.
Maybe.
Yeah. I saw something today that, and I'm pro Brexit for you guys, is because you guys did Brexit, you are not eligible for a U.S. trade deal till like 2022 or something like that.
Well,
that's just the
cathedral bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw that today.
I mean, it might. You never know. There might be some spite involved. It's like I don't follow
no Nikes
news.
For you guys, dude.
Yeah, I mean,
no
Xboxes.
Make
our own, won't we?
Yep.
One of the big things that won it for Brexit was Barack Obama coming over here and telling us not to vote for it because.
Oh my God! I'm just seeing this right here.
Another Rhodes Scholar, Barack.
Yeah. Well, no, he was not actually.
Oh, I thought he was.
No, his like basically right hand man, the guy who wrote all his speeches. That fucking Rahm Emanuel guy is though.
Yeah. Oh, so his speechwriter.
Right, exactly.
So the guy who wrote everything he said in public
made
you think how charismatic and intelligent he was.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm Barack Obama. And I fucking guy.
My favorite is he's in Flint and he's like, "Can I have a glass of water?" He's like, "This is not a stunt."
I'll take that vaccine. I have no problem with it. I'm gay.
I mean, these people are so. Do you remember the mad cow thing?
That was a kid,
it was a guy called. His full title is Lord John Selwyn Gummer, right? And he was he was the Minister of Agriculture or Home Secretary or some gay fucking shit at the time, and he got his children to eat a fucking hamburger in front of the cameras for that, and it backfired so bad. And yet here we are.
Wait, what happened? Did his kids bug out? Did they get mad cow?
No, they were fine because it like everything else, it was a lot of bullshit. It was
they were eating pork sandwiches.
Yeah,
they were eating ground chicken.
Yeah.
No, the truth about mad cow thing. I've never heard of anybody who knew anybody who ever got sick from it.
I just remember hearing on the news for like a week or two.
Some people evidently did get sick from it. It was probably one fucking bad cow carcass that got shared out among a dozen people, and they all fucking died of it.
Yeah,
and it was no big fucking deal. But everything has to be made into the biggest fucking deal it possibly can be. But nonetheless, that was a massive backfire, and they're doing it again. They always overplay their hand. They always go with the kabuki theater bullshit where they're not really getting the fucking injections. You'd be insane.
Yeah, dude, I saw a couple videos where people
of them not getting it.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's videos of them fucking.
People are. They're like, they won't notice this trick one.
I mean, why not just inject them with saline so at least it looks like they're getting injected?
That's what I said. This one's like squirt it out, and then the guy's like, "Yep, totally giving it to him."
Yeah. But why not? I mean, why not just get a saline injection?
Yeah.
It's like fucking crazy.
Because there's the mild chance that they go into the vein and then they put liquid into the vein, and that's not good, or air bubble into the vein. Yeah, they're that worried.
Saline's fine.
I mean, a lot of the times it's clearly not even a nurse or a medical professional doing it.
No,
the person who's doing it has never done it before. It's
like a pharmacist from CVS.
Yeah.
It's like,
I'd give it a flu shot.
Yeah, no fucking thank you. My kid's pediatrician was taken aback when I told him my kid wasn't getting a flu shot. He looked like I just called him the N-word, and he's white. He's like, you know what I mean? And then I told him he ain't getting no COVID vaccine either, dude.
Last year, I took my then 5-year-old for a flu shot, but it's not a shot for the little ones. It's not a shot here, and this is. I doubt if there's anybody listening to this who is in favor of socialized medicine, but let me tell you this story anyway, just in case. I got a thing saying, "Oh, your kid's at the age where she should have a flu vaccination for this year," and so I thought, "Oh, all right, well, we'll go and do it." And the socialized medicine being what it is. A lot of people got that fucking message, and it was raining in November, and there's a queue, as we call it. You guys call it a line, right out of the waiting room, down the path, down the steps into the car park of people lining up. Most of them are old people because they're the people who really need it. And I recommended to get it anyway by the vampires. And and it's raining, so the nurse comes out of the practice and walks down the queue, and she says to me, "Oh, we're getting all the children in now because it's raining." So they've got this elderly population of people standing outside in the rain. My daughter could stand outside in the rain for a week and she'll be fine.
Yeah. Old people are getting pneumonia while they're waiting for the flu shot.
It's like, what is this really about? Yeah. But anyway, the upshot of it is like they're not so hard. They're not as brutal with the fascism on the children here. Like, I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for the mercy of our farmer because the children are made to wear masks. and they're
they're not either up until like a certain age.
Yeah, I think if you even had like a 5 or 6 year old, you could probably get away with. Shit. Yeah, they're not going to be like, I'm going to be just like, he won't fucking wear it. I don't know what to tell you. Like,
well, here it's the rules are there's no need for them under 13 or something, but like they don't, you don't have children don't have to wear them at all. So I mean that's cool. The other thing is the flu shot for children here is just a little aerosol up the nose. They just get a little, like a miniature toothpaste tube, cut the end off it, shove it.
That seems like that could be anything, though.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
That's like some Star Wars medicine. Like you're in a Bacta tank or something. You take a nose.
Great reference.
You take a nose puff. That's like cyberpunk drugs.
I was hoping it was ketamine, so
I'm taking Nova Coke.
They're just giving the kids nitrous.
Yeah. Wow, Daddy, I've seen Jesus.
It's really like house music.
I
can't believe it's a New Year's Eve, dude.
I can't either, dude.
So let's wrap this up with Cecil Rhodes. He's dead. Where does this lead to modern day, you think? So we've gotten past all the wars.
Basically, just
of it is all the
Rhodes
global institutions.
So it's basically the seed of the tree that blossomed into the branches of the WHO and all these places you named, NATO, UN.
Let me just say this. Every time you see someone who's doing something evil from our perspective, and that's subjective, obviously.
Sure.
But from our perspective, Google if they are a member of the Council for Foreign Relations, the Chatham House, or which is also known as the Royal Institute for Foreign Relations, or Foreign Affairs, sorry, RIFA. Also, the Bilderberg Group, the Davos Group.
Oh, Davos. That's a rough one.
Yeah, the World Health Organization. I don't want to cast the whole UN into doubt, but I mean, like, in a way, yes, because they did start it. But it is what it is. I might want to give a little caution.
The UN's ever done.
They drop a couple fucking sacks of rice once.
Yeah, all that does is put the local rice farmers out of business.
Yeah, then like a warlord gets it and like massacres 50 people for it.
Right.
Foreign aid is worse than colonialism.
Absolutely.
We started on that COVID bill, bro. The percentage of foreign aid in a fucking
Let's not talk about the Syrian money that was being distributed.
Yeah, it's fucking.
Was it Iran?
It makes me so mad.
It was Iran, the one who got the money from the gold bars and planes. Is that what you're talking about?
Oh no, I was talking about the COVID thing. No, actually, we talked about this a little bit before, but I'm gonna take a little bone to pick with you. Not a serious bone, but I think your criticism of Iran is unwarranted.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Why? They're terrible.
But I would listen. They're subhuman. You're not gonna get that argument out of me.
Yeah.
But they also aren't developing nukes.
Do you think that's a new weapons of mass destruction?
Absolutely not. I think they were just trying to get developed into nuclear power. I think that, and for all of the UN's faults, all of the UN Security Council's probes into the Iran nuclear deal was proven to be just nuclear power. And you can look at Scott Horton's, Scott Horton has compiled a shitload of information about this. And I think that the Trump faction's maligning of Iran over the Iran deal is silly.
Yeah.
I think, again, and me and William have talked about this before, Muslims are based. And the fact that these Muslims, these Muslims are allied against Israel, and they're also allied against Saudi Arabia, the two belligerents in the whole global terrorism conflict.
Yeah. Let me just present the Muslims are based argument for the audience. But this is it, right? You don't have to like them. You don't have to like their way of life or anything. Same as Branch Davidians, right? your average Muslim guy just wants to be left alone. Now, the reason
they don't even practice usury.
Yeah, the reason the whole global community is against them is because it's against their religion to pay interest or charge interest.
Technically, it's against Christianity too, and that's why the Jews hold all the money. But we just we're none of us.
We can get another episode about that. We were talking about that. By the
they take it. But my point is, like they don't borrow money from the banks; they borrow money from their uncle and their cousins and shit like that. You know, and they're just a law unto themselves, like gypsies or whatever, and they're literally just taking care of business. Now there are useful idiot arseholes. So you've got your ISIS, who are kind of the right-wing useful idiots who are being manipulated by the CIA, and then you've got your left-wing community leader wankers, which you get in every community.
Them, by the way,
and they're being manipulated by the sort of social democratic Rhodes pill fucking wankers.
The left boot of the Rhodesian Empire.
You've got the left boot is the community leaders who are complaining about Islamophobia, and the right boot is the fucking
bankers,
CIA controlled ISIS and Al Qaeda,
and funding the Contras, and opposed to the fucking pretty normie ass socialist people who are living in the South America and all that stuff.
Yeah,
all these overthrows. Yeah,
but your everyday Muslim family man, regardless of where he's living, he just wants to be fucking left alone. He doesn't give a fuck about anything.
They don't know anything, dude.
They're based. They just take care of their own fucking business.
But the whole thing of they're jealous of Americans. Remember that shit? Like that.
It's such fucking Jewish propaganda.
They don't even know what the fuck's going on, nor do they care outside of their bubble. But
absolutely.
I'm not 100% behind that argument, but that's the argument for Muslims are based. And I regularly go out wearing a Pakistan cricket hat, and I went to Leeds wearing such headgear the other day, and I let's just say Pakistani guys are very friendly to me. So I have a good impression of them. The more religious they are, the more they like my hat.
Anyway, but anyways, so I think we give you a pretty good taste of what we do on our show, for what it's worth.
Anybody who hasn't listened to History Homos, which you should, that's pretty much, that's a good sampling.
We take a pretty contrarian view to almost everything.
Which I love, dude. Not just go read Wikipedia or some shit like that, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I read Wikipedia on the show.
For the basis, like for the soup and nuts, but you give your own opinion of it.
Right, exactly.
It's like, he was
born... nuts. That's a good way to say it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You just go for the facts of like, the guy was born here and died here, and
the formula of the show is
you connect the dots.
Scott knows a lot of facts, and I try and derail it at every
sounds about right
opportunity.
Fucking Happy New Year's, dude. We got
Happy New Year's
4.5 hours.
Thank you for chilling with us on a New Year's. I really appreciate it, and also I love this community of people who all just want to fucking are interested in shit. That's very cool to me. I really appreciated that. Yeah,
dude. Thanks for coming on tonight.
Yeah, thanks for being such a good friend to the show, Paul. You rule.
Can I run through my plug roll?
Yeah, go right ahead.
All right. So our full episodes are at www.historyhomos.com, or you can subscribe at any of the places that you normally find podcasts. Also follow William across social media on Twitter, Parler, and Instagram at History Homos Pod. Also follow me on Instagram at Scott Lizard Abrams. And I just started a Twitch account.
There you go, buddy.
So go subscribe to that. I'm going to be streaming this weekend, but we just uploaded our bonus episode for this week. So go to our YouTube account or go to our podcast, but the YouTube account, search History Homos, or go to the link in any of our social media accounts, and it's right there for you.
Sick.
And Frank Black, you are based.
That's the number one super fan right there, Frank, dude. You guys know where I'm at Paul_Fenz on Twitter, and You're obviously listening to this shit, and twitch.tv/Paul Fenz. Thanks for coming on, boys. Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year's to you, dude.
It's been great fun getting to know you, man.
Yeah, you too, guys. You guys are the
we gotta get a beer in real life sometime.
Absolutely.
We're so close.
Yeah, just text me. And fucking
well,
William,
I got your number now, so yeah.
Yeah, if you ever come over to the States, William, same thing, bro.
Yeah.
It's been great to get to know all of you. No?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to come back to Boston. I love it.
Yeah, he's totally going to get that vaccine, by the way, to get over here.
You have to travel. So I'm not traveling ever again.
I'm literally never going. I'm not leaving the state. Yeah.
No, I'm not getting
fuck it. Not happening. Anyways, fucking let's close out 2020. Happy New Year's, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Later, boys and
girls.
Have
a based New Year.
Have a based New Year. Fuck Rhodesia.